Hey guys, Sheriff again here, and today with another round in the War Thunder Simulator, today in my trusty Bf109 G14. I have to say, the G14 is so far my favorite Bf109, for a couple of reasons, and some of the reasons I want to show you in this round. Maybe I should mention that this round was played in the Axis versus Allies rotation, so the Germans are fighting with the Japanese versus all the Allies, the Russians, the UK and the Americans, so you don't have to wonder that in the enemy team there are Spitfires, Mustangs and LA-7s and such. At the beginning of the round we were flying around a good while. You see that fuel counter in the top left corner, 12 minutes into the round without really happening anything. But then, above the main objective, we see a contact at RR6 and we starting to chase that guy. It turns out that's a Spitfire and he's at the moment very target fixated, so I'm able to get behind him and start shooting. But my aim at this moment is really bad and I miss him a couple of times. In this dogfight you see some nice features of the G14. I mean, the Spitfire is overall of course a better turner, but the initial turns of the G14 are really good and you can still aim on target if you are turned in the right direction and at the right moment. I found it relatively easy to stay on that Spitfire, especially after he broke and the dogfight went into the vertical. In those very sustained loops, the Spitfire has clearly the disadvantage because the Bf109 holds its energy way better than the Spitfire. And you can see that the dogfight is getting lower and lower in altitude, so the ground comes nearer and the Spitfire is getting out of options. My shots are coming closer and closer to the Spitfire after each loop. And finally I'm able to get some shots into him. Nothing critical though, so I have to loop around and make another pass. And for these maneuvers I like the Bf109 very much, because you can pull your nose up, go in the vertical, loop around and come back without any issues. My teammate set the Spitfire on fire and he goes down. I get the assist and I'm really happy, but now I have to cool my engine very fast because it's very overheated and I have only 40 seconds to cool it down. It's not really a problem with the Bf109, but the problem is I'm in the middle of the map. It's very dangerous to throttle down here, and a surprised Bf109 with low energy is usually a dead Bf109. I was lucky and no enemy was coming by and I was able to cool down my engine in time. In the following I tried to get some altitude back, to get some energy and be prepared for the next engagement. My wingman had to repair and to refuel because his engine was hit in the dogfight and was leaking coolant and his engine was about to fail, so he had to land. Because of that I decided to go back to the airfield as well to provide some air cover. And while I was flying back to the airfield I saw some flak clouds above the bay near the airfield. That must be an enemy. He's flying higher than me and is faster than me, so he comes out of a huge energy advantage. After a few moments I think he saw me and he's coming my direction and he's trying to get me in a head-on, which is a very bad idea versus a Bf109, but I miss him again. In this moment I'm really surprised. I mean, he was coming out of an energy advantage, but I was able to nullify this energy advantage within a few seconds. I'm behind him now and with ease, so he must have burned his energy in those tight turns. And at this moment I'm wondering again. After a few additional vertical maneuvering, the Spitfire for some reason gave up and was focusing on that mate which was in the area. The Spitfire is diving and I need some time to get behind him again. And again, I'm surprised that he's not trying to defend him anymore. I mean, he could easily turn and avoid my shots, but he doesn't. And in the following I'm able to put some good shots into him and he goes down. Maybe to note is that the G14 is like all other Bf109s a bit bouncy around the elevator axis. That's a thing I still have to get used to. After this I was down to 7 minutes of fuel and my ammunition was low as well, so I decided to land. Shortly after my takeoff I see some flak clouds around my airfield, but I can't figure out what's the cause and where the enemy could be, so I decide to climb furthermore and try to be fully aware what's going on around me. But then I can see a contact above the bay near the same area as a Spitfire was, and I start to chase that plane. But I get surprised by an enemy plane which is closely passing behind me. I lose him for a few seconds, but then I can see him versus the horizon and I start to chase that plane. It's a Yak-9, which is chasing a Focke-Wulf. I try to get some shots into him, but at this angle it's very hard. The Yak is in a shallow dive, and at this moment I'm not really sure if the Yak had seen me or not. But he should have seen me, because he was passing by behind me. But he's fully focused on the Focke-Wulf, so I can line up my shots and set him on fire. He will go down and he will mark my second kill of that match. While I was climbing back to some altitude, I see again flak firing above the bay next to our airfield. And then I can see red tracers low on the ground pointing to our base. At this point I assume a teammate is trying to come back to our airfield and is being chased by some enemies. It's time to get some cover for him, so I dive down to help him. In the first approach I'm of course a bit too fast and I'm pointing in the wrong direction, so I have to loop around and lose some speed. But I try to lose not too much speed, so I'm still on the energy advantage if I engage the enemy. I see that an enemy plane is turning around and is trying to flee the other direction. So I loop around and try to chase him. I open fire and I hit him. And I try to use my speed to get some altitude back with a very dangerous move, and I'm flying directly in front of his guns. He almost hit me. That was very dangerous. I'm looping around to make another attack. He's trying to flee again and trying to get into that canyon. I'm faster than him. I'm on a huge energy advantage compared to him. I'm gaining on him and I'm able to hit him again. I'm again faster, but now I learned my lesson and I'm trying to avoid his guns. I wait until he stalls out so I can loop back around with the wing over, and I see that he's spinning now. But he is able to recover and I get another hit, which follows in a crash, and I get my third kill. In this situation I feel chased because I heard some engine sounds, so I decide to go into a spiral climb where I can see easily behind me. And here you can see the full potential of the Bf109 G14. I mean, I'm in a spiral climb here and I'm able to get back on 1.5 kilometer in altitude without any problems. I was on the surface. Okay, I had 500 kph, but still, impressive climbing performance here. It turns out that I'm not being chased. There were a lot of teammates in the area, so I was never in danger at any point. I decided to get back to some safe altitudes to be prepared for the next engagement, as always. A few minutes later, my wingman called out that he's being chased and in danger. So I try to figure out where he is, and I'm flying to the described location. There I can see a contact and I follow him. It turns out that is not the enemy which is following my wingman, but anyway, this guy is flying to our base, so I chase him. In the following I try to get some hits from long distance, I hit him a couple of times, but nothing critical though. He's continuing his flight. As you can see, we've reached now the airfield, and the enemies are getting attacked by the ground AAs. In the same moment I see that I'm coming too late and my wingman is hit and shot down. I can see the P-51 which was attacking my teammate, and I decide to switch targets and kill the P-51. Here a short burst is enough to kill him. But now I'm really alone with multiple enemies, and I don't really know how many enemies are in the area. First I wanted to try to follow that plane which was passing by, but I have the feeling I have more enemies in the area. I see this Russian plane coming over and I'm trying to shoot him, but I get only hits, nothing critical again. So now I'm in real trouble and I'm trying to get some help from the teammates. But the teammates are in the middle of that map and not really close to help me. So I have to resolve this situation on my own. I try to get into a dive and then into a rolling scissors to avoid all shots which are coming on me. Now I see I have at least 3 or 4 enemies on my tail. But I try to continue my rolling scissors to avoid further damage to my plane. But as you can see, there's no real way out of that. So it's only a matter of time until they hit me. So this was the round of the simulator mode I wanted to show you. I hope you liked it. I like to play that round, and of course I like to make that video here. I really enjoy to make English videos. It's more work for me, of course. I mean, when you're talking in your mother language it's always a bit easier. But I don't mind. It's a completely new experience to me. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share and like that video to spread the word, and that makes my work a bit easier. I don't really know how often I have the time to make English videos. As I said, they need some more work than my German content, but there will be more English content. But now I have nothing more to say as see you next time. Bye bye.